All right, let's do this. We're about to take a journey way, way back, long before you could binge watch an entire season on your couch. We're going to meet the original masters of suspense, the Daredevil Divas of the silent screen.
You know, this simple phrase flashed up on a flickering screen. This was probably the most exciting and, let's be honest, the most frustrating thing you could possibly see in a movie theater 100 years ago. This was the engine that powered a whole new way of telling stories.
I mean, just picture it. You're sitting in a packed theater back in 1914. You've just watched our hero, Pearl White, dangle from a hot air balloon or maybe jump from a speeding car, and just as that train is about to hit her, boom, the screen goes black. You would have absolutely no choice but to come back next week. You had to see how she got out of it. That right there, that was the magic of the cliffhanger.
But this wasn't just some cheap gimmick, you know? It was a really clever storytelling device. And it was perfected by this almost forgotten group of heroines. These women became some of the biggest stars in the world, all by leaving audiences hanging on for dear life.
So what exactly was a movie serial? Well, think of it like a TV season, but before television even existed. It was this huge, epic story told in these little 15-minute chunks, 1 week at a time. The entire business model was built around that one final, heart-pounding moment of each episode.
Now sure, there were cowboy heroes and all that, but a really unique thing happened with the serials. The action heroine took over. This was a brand new kind of star, and she completely changed the game for what a female lead could be.
You have to remember what was going on at the time. There was this big cultural shift happening. That old, stuffy Victorian ideal of a woman was fading away, and on the movie screen, a new woman started to appear. She was active, she was capable, and she definitely wasn't waiting around for some guy to rescue her.
And wow, this slide just lays it all out, doesn't it? It's night and day. The classic Victorian damsel, she faints, she waits for a hero to show up. But the serial queen, she was the hero. She was athletic, she could fly a plane, she could drive a getaway car. Her independence was everything. It was a totally radical idea for the time.
And the face of this whole movement? Oh, that was absolutely Pearl White. Her 1914 serial, The Perils of Pauline, wasn't actually the very first one, but it became the gold standard. It was the one everyone else tried to copy, and it made her a global superstar.
So you have to ask, why did this whole thing just explode in popularity? What was it about these serials and these incredible heroines that just completely captivated a whole generation of moviegoers?
Well, it really boils down to three big things. First, there was just the sheer thrill of seeing a woman take charge on screen. Second, you had that super addictive cliffhanger business model. And third, these characters felt real and relatable, especially to an audience of women whose own lives were changing in huge ways.
And this right here, this is the crucial part. The fight for independence that audiences were seeing on screen, that wasn't just some Hollywood fantasy. It was a direct reflection of the suffragette movement that was happening right outside the theater doors. These movies were tapping into a real cultural revolution.
You see, that's the thing about a character like Pauline. She wasn't just a victim who kept falling into traps. No, the whole story was driven by her choice to go have an adventure, her choice to get in that hot air balloon. The danger was just a side effect of her wanting to live her own life.
Now, of course, Pearl White was a huge star, but she wasn't the only one in the game. The competition was fierce, and these women were so much more than just performers. They were incredibly savvy business leaders who built their own empires.
Her biggest rival was a woman named Ruth Rowland, so if Pearl White was the wealthy heiress who kind of stumbled into adventure, Ruth Rowland, the queen of thrills, she was the professional. She played detectives and ranchers, women who were already in charge. They were basically two different flavors of the exact same powerful idea.
And off-screen, they were total pioneers. They started their own production companies, they negotiated their own contracts. I mean, stars like Ruth Rowland were earning up to $10,000 a week. That's over $250,000 in today's money. They proved that female-led action wasn't some little niche, it was a box office powerhouse.
But you know how it goes. Like all golden ages, it had to come to an end. By the mid-1920s, the reign of the serial queen was pretty much over. So, what happened?
It was really a few things all hitting at once. The movie industry started shifting to longer, more prestigious feature films. Then, after World War I, the culture started pushing women back towards more traditional, domestic roles. And finally, the nail in the coffin, the arrival of talkies, movies with sound, which favored dialogue over the huge outdoor stunts that made the serials so famous. But, and this is the most important part, even though the genre itself faded away, the DNA of the serial queen, that never went away. It's actually still with us, kind of hiding in plain sight.
Just think about that original template we talked about, the resourceful, independent woman who could get herself out of any jam.
You fast forward a few decades, and who do you see? You see Princess Leia, tired of waiting around, grabbing the blaster from Han Solo and blasting her own way out. It's that exact same refusal to be a passive victim that defined Pauline.
And then you see it again clear as day with characters like Lara Croft. Her whole identity is built on exploring dangerous places, using her own smarts and her own strength. The line is totally direct, from Pauline escaping a sawmill to Lara Croft raiding a tomb.
So when you boil it all down, these early pioneers taught Hollywood 3 timeless lessons. 1, a woman in danger can be her own hero. 2, action isn't a guy thing, it's for everyone. And maybe most important of all, the best hook in any story is making people absolutely desperate to find out what happens next.
So yeah, the next time you're glued to your screen on the edge of your seat during a season finale, just give a little nod to Pearl White and her rivals. They're the ones who invented that feeling.
And that leaves us with one final thought to chew on. If they were the Daredevil divas of their time, who are the true serial queens of today?